the shocker of the weekend, the only real upset of the weekend, and that being the Washington Commanders, going to Detroit and taking down the 1 seed Lions. My Super Bowl pick, bracket busted, as the Washington Commanders beat the Lions 45-31. The 15-win Lions get eliminated by rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels, Scary Terry, Ohio State alum Terry McLaurin, OHIO, as man, this was a shocker to me. Like, as I was trying to look at all these matchups and trying to think, okay, Bills Ravens, you just got to put that aside. There's not an upset in that. You got two great teams duking it out. There would not be an upset from that. And so then when I looked at the other three matchups, I was just trying to think, okay, what's the upset going to be? Because there's going to be one. And I looked at this one, but I was just like, no, the Lions, they are on their home field. It's the divisional round. If they're going to get upset, it's going to be in the NFC Championship game. But the Commanders, they proved me wrong. Congrats to them. I was happy for a family member of mine who's a longtime Washington fan. One of my coworkers is a longtime Washington fan. So I was happy for them, but as equally surprised just by the domination in this game. And I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I was ultimately wrong because I picked the Rams as my upset of the weekend. Instead, it was the Commanders. So, Kaz, with this being your division and your upcoming opponent as an Eagles fan, I'm going to toss this back to you. What did you think about the Lions losing to the Commanders, 45-31?
I'll give a major shout out to the Commanders for playing the Lions type of football. That's what they did. They came out there and they scored fast. That's why defense is so important. We all know Detroit's defense has been hurt the entire season. They even lost some guys this game. I mean, there was a guy who got injured, like I think within the first half. One of their main defensive guys. I think it was a lineman. I can't remember exactly, but you need defense to win. You do, because all it takes is for you to be in a shootout with a team, and it's going to be like that Rams-Chiefs game back in 2018 or whatever, where it was like 50 to a million to a million. And it's like, hey, it's just all to come down to who has the ball last. That's it. Neither defense stopping these offenses. Commanders don't have a stud defense, but you know what? They showed up. They did. They did their best. They put their best effort against a very, very good Lions offense. And the Lions offense still feasted. It ain't like they blew them out. They pulled away at the very end, but dude, I mean, Gibbs, he still had a game. Just like he has in week after week after week. You know, yeah, Jameson Williams, he had a couple good, he had a insane screen and he housed it for 60 yards. And then McLaurin came back and did the same thing. You don't want to be in these shootouts, especially in a playoff game. That's why, I had the Eagles. If we made it to the NFC Championship game and they're going to be there, I would still have picked the Eagles to win, because I'm like, we have a number one defense in the league. All we need to do is just rattle them a little bit, and we need to score a few points. We got Saquon Barkley. It can be done. But what the Commanders did, they said, screw it. All season long, Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, all them guys have been putting up a massive amount of points and yards all season. I don't know how many 30-plus point games they've had this season, but they have a handful. And they just did it again in a playoff game. They came out and, they rattled the Lions early, and I think that the lights just got a little bit too bright for the Lions. Goff, I mean, he was getting rocked that game. There's one hit for sure. I'm like, damn, they're not playing. This is the final blow right here.
Teddy Bridgewater even made an appearance because of that. Amazing. He was just coaching his high school to a state championship, and here he is playing in a playoff game.
Yeah, man. It was just you just don't want to do that, man. In my head, as a diehard Eagles fan, I never want to see a final score, 44-43 in a playoff game. That would be such an emotional roller coaster. I'd much rather have more of a grinder of a game, not some 13-10 game, no, but I can definitely tell that we are either in control or we're not. A game like that, you can't tell whether, you don't know. It all comes down to just, okay, who's going to get the deep shot downfield? Who's going to get the big run? Gibbs getting his money. Terry McLaurin getting his money. Jameson Williams getting his money. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Jaden Daniels doing what he does. It was a shocker. We all know it was a shocker. It was definitely unexpected. Vegas definitely cashed hard on all the people who put their life savings on the Lions, for sure.
You see that? Did you see that one video on social media where it was the guy who was down bad? And he literally was in the stadium and he was like this, and his girlfriend or significant other is just going after him, and then she leaves him there. And the
Yeah.
caption just said, "When you lose all your rent money on the line."
Yeah. That you already know. And you know what? It's we joke about it, but these things really happen. These things really happen. People put their lives on line for these bets. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. So you think about this game being a for sure game. I mean, the Lions were favored to win the Super Bowl behind the Chiefs. What Chiefs, Lions, and then I think it was Ravens, and then I think it was Bills, and then Philadelphia or something like that. Like we were like fifth or something like on like everybody's list. I think it was like NFL Fox or something like that. I'm like whatever, but yeah, no, I mean the Lions were. I think they were like plus 4 something, I believe. Don't quote me on that to as a Super Bowl favorite to win. But yeah, man, just again, shout out the Commanders. I mean, that shit won't work next week. But shout out the Commanders because that is how you beat Detroit. There's 2 ways you can beat a team like Detroit. One, you can just outscore them and go back and forth and just pray to God that you get the ball in the end more times than they do. Or 2, your defense shows up and you make them change their entire game plan. We don't have to do what the Commanders did to. We wouldn't have had to done what the Commanders did to the Lions to win. We would have played a completely different game. But they played the Lions game and they got up. They got up quick. That's what happens. That's just basic football. You never want to be in that situation. Anybody who knows ball knows that is not ideal. You do not want to be in a high-scoring shootout. Because here's the thing. Your defense can't rest. So your defense already has holes and they're getting tired. The Commanders defense, tired. But at the end of the day, Commanders defense, Lions defense. One stop is all it took to widen that gap and put it away. So, like I said, they were getting to go off at the very end there. The Lions didn't have an answer for anything. They were pinning them back pretty far. Yeah, just shout out the Commanders. I can't even be mad at it. I'm not a Commander hater. I mean, their fans they turned remedial over the fucking course of 4 weeks, but but I'm like that's. I texted you guys. How you feeling? I'm like I'm chilling. I'm acting like I've been here. Yes. In the last 8 years, I have seen 2 Super Bowl appearances in multiple playoff games and even playoff wins. So I'm like, I'm not nervous about anything. I'm gonna chill out and watch a good football game. Commanders fans are acting like they won the Super Bowl, as they should be happy. Don't get me wrong, be happy. But like, you guys talking crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? You beat us because you played Kenny Pickett. And it wasn't like, well, he came in the fourth quarter. Third. No, he played 3 quarters of football. And at the same time, it wasn't like you guys were just handling that game. No, it came down to the very, very end. And Jay Dino's got, I think he had like a pair of touchdowns in the fourth quarter or something like that. And you guys won. We couldn't do anything on offense because you guys stacked the box and you guys locked down Saquon Barkley. There's nothing there for Kenny Pickett. Shit, there's nothing there even when Jalen Hurts is in the game half the time. That's why he throws for 120, 140 yards. And it just is what it is. It gives the ball to Saquon. But not having Jalen Hurts in that game definitely changed that entire dynamic, and it's clear as day. I mean, let's just call it what it is. You got Jalen Hurts and you got Kenny Pickett. That's just is what it is. Whether you're a believer in Hurts, you like Hurts or not, he is double the quarterback Kenny Pickett is on any given Sunday. So again, shout out the Commanders, enjoy it, but you're for sure getting bent over next week, without a doubt.
Well, Toddy, another development that we had happened today, being Monday, January 20th, with the Lions, is that they have now officially, we expected it to happen, but they have now officially lost their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, who is now the new head coach of your Chicago Bears. I just wanted to say that, so it's documented here on the podcast. We're not ignoring it. It happened. We'll get to all the coaching moves on another episode because we got a lot to talk about today. But I just wanted to put that out there in this transition because it is your Chicago Bears. But when it comes to the game itself, the Detroit Lions, they got upset. And Ben Johnson, he came back for another year to go on a Super Bowl run, and it got cut abruptly short by the Commanders. And Toddy, you were very high on the Commanders coming into this year. You were the only one of us who said that they would make the playoffs. And so kudos to you for seeing this run. But just what was your reaction to the Commanders beating the Lions 45-31?
Hashtag Caleb Beck. The game itself, I think when the Lions came out and scored and they went up 7-0, I was like, oh, they're about to strike up the bands. Like, it's going to be one of those nights. But Jaden kind of responded early. And usually, I think the Commander usually like to get the ball first, start out fast, and let the other team kind of play catch up. But I've just been on the wrong side of betting against Jaden Daniels for the majority of the season. Like, the games that I bet on him, I'm going to lose. The games I bet on him, I win. So maybe I'm doing something wrong. He has just surpassed all rookie expectations. I mean, I think rookie of the year is kind of already in his house somewhere, just mounted on the wall. I think just what he's been able to do with the lack of talent. Now, I think we can all agree that Terry McLaurin is a monster. Brian Robinson is a solid running back, but it's like their offense isn't like overpowering most defenses. I think it's Jaden Daniels literally making chicken salad out of chicken shit for the most part. He's been sensational. I'd say for like the back half of the year for the most part. Kaz mentioned he was talking about Kenny Pickett and all, they played against, we only, they did turn the ball over several times in that game as well. I don't think that's the same guy. I think he gets better literally every single week. So if we're going off of old film, I mean, this was a team that went down to the wire with the Bears, and it took a miracle at the end to win. I don't even think that's the same quarterback. So I think he's literally just seeing a bunch of stuff that he hasn't seen in previous week, and he's just like downloading information literally every single week, and he's getting better and better. He's what I wanted Caleb to be. You talk about a top 15 quarterback. Jaden Daniels is top 10 quarterback right now in the NFL. I don't think it should be really debated that much. I mean, if we're watching one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, Jaden Daniels is one of those type of guys. As far as the game goes, I thought the Commanders were able to force turnovers. I believe they forced 3, if I'm not mistaken, and one of those was a pick 6. I thought was very pivotal to the Commanders winning this game. Jared Goff had to be better with taking care of the football. Obviously thought he got knocked out of the game on that interception where he kind of got bulldozed by, I forgot who it was that hit him, but Shaun already mentioned that we saw Teddy Bridgewater in this game, and they ran like a double reverse, and on that reverse, that was the 61-yard reverse play to Jameson Williams. And I thought that they were down 3 after that. But Commanders just came back, threw a bubble screen to Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin took it like 60 yards. So I get that their offense isn't really like overpowering, but they're able to score points. And I feel like you add that with a combination of Jaden Daniels is able to make plays with his legs and beat you downfield with his arm. I think they got a shot against the Eagles. I'm not saying I don't know if they're going to win, but I bet against the guy too many times, and I've seen crazier things happen. So the Commanders right now are playing with house money. They're a team that nobody expected to be here. They won four games last year. As Shaun mentioned earlier that I was one of the guys to pick them to go to the playoffs. I was like, Jaden Daniels is a guy that can literally turn around your franchise. You guys like, hey, I mean, they won 4 games last year. So how much more turning around can we do? We're seeing firsthand that he can do anything. I mean, they beat the number 1 seed on the road by 2 touchdowns. It's getting scary.